You're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating. Big difference. You see, all habits have three parts. There's a trigger, and in the case of procrastination, the trigger's always stress. Then there's a pattern you repeat, and in the case of procrastination, it is to avoid doing something. And then there's a reward. You get a little stress relief. You're never going to get rid of the stress in your life, but you can 100% change your pattern of avoiding work. So next time that you're in a situation where you feel yourself hesitate, you spent way too much time checking out the highlights from last night's scores, what you're going to do is you're going to go, oh, I must be stressed out about something. Acknowledge the stress. Then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to count to yourself because I want you to interrupt the habit that's stored here, and I want you to awaken your prefrontal cortex. Then I want you to just work, just for 5 minutes. The reason why I want you to only work for 5 minutes is because your problem isn't working. It's the habit of avoiding. I just need you to start. And here's the other cool thing. We know based on research that if we can get you to start, 80% of you are going to keep going.
There's a lot that she had said, and I think there could be many videos made on the different areas that she was discussing. For instance, like that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that's her prime tool to take action towards those goals. But right off, she's talking about habits. I love habits. Honestly, the word has so much weight and value that for a lot of people, it's like we need to start there, because your life is a combination of what you have or haven't done. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes it really shows what you really need to do and what you haven't done moving forward. And the good thing about habits is we can change them. And being that we're a creature of habit, that we are habit-driven, this makes it so easy. Like, knowing this, you should be mind blown, because knowing this one thing makes it possible to create whatever you want. Because it's like, you know what? Now that I know that I've created this life because of the habits I've had, I'm going to recreate a new life by incorporating these new habits. Just starting, like she said, even just starting for 5 minutes. That's a powerful tool, because, and like she said, the research shows that for 80% of us, that's enough. That's enough for us to keep going. I actually use a very similar rule even before hearing hers, and that mine I did 10. You know, the rule of 10. Like, what's 10 minutes? For me, I do whatever task I need to do for 10 minutes, and then if I'm tired, if I don't want to do anything more, I'll stop. And I tell myself that, and I truly mean that, because you have to truly mean that. I've never been to the point where it's like, you know what, I don't want to continue, because I do. Also, I want to, being that I mentioned truly meaning that, you need to be honest with yourself. Just like you tell a friend this or that, if you're going to show up at, I don't know, their place to help them with whatever. When you tell somebody something, that has some kind of weight. Hopefully. I mean, hopefully you're a person that if you say something, the friend can rely on you, right? But if you're to the point where you can't even rely on yourself, that's where some major correction needs to be done. That's why when I say, like, hey, tell yourself in 10 minutes if you want to stop, you want to stop. And that's okay. Because now once you start telling yourself like those truths, it's like, you know what? Now I will only, like if I say like I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So that way you start believing in yourself and you start actually moving towards those things, because you're only hurting yourself if you don't. And another thing that I want to impact is she was saying triggers. The habits are responsible for triggers, and she only mentioned about having that stress, that anxiety, and not going towards that. Yes, that's one way, But habits are driven by two things, and I guess we can call them triggers, for lack of a better word. But it's either towards pleasure or it's away from pain. Those are the two main fronts that will get you to do something or get you not to do something. And in the case of procrastination, the trigger of and once again, trigger, I don't really like to use that word, but the idea of playing video games, watching Netflix, all of those different, scrolling through Facebook, TikTok, whatever it may be, I mean, there's a lot of pleasure towards that. So when you have those two goals, I mean, it's way easier to do something like that than it is for the pain. Then also all of these things that we are talking about, it all deals with awareness. So even having the awareness that you're making a mistake. Now, at the same time, it's good to have your days off. It's good to do those certain things, but have that be a reward for the hard work that you had done. And that's one thing that I had learned through the productivity project, and something that I've been doing for years. I chart my productivity and then reward myself for that, because rewarding yourself is important. Watching Netflix, doing that stuff, it is important as a reward. So that's also good to know as well. Going back to awareness, now that you have awareness, it's like, okay, right now I want to spend my time towards this. If it's your day off, yeah, spending it towards that, that's important. But when it comes to your working day, spending it towards what you want is super important. And when you sway from that, having the awareness to go back and to do it is also just as important. Now, let's say after 30 minutes, you're tired. You no longer want to contribute. That's okay, because for a lot of us, that's actually, like the research shows, that's when we stop. In the productivity book, they talk about doing 25 minutes of work with 5 minutes of pleasure. So doing 25 minutes of hard work and then, watching, something on Facebook, playing a game, whatever it may be. And then that way, you don't have that same level of stress that I gotta continue, yada yada yada. And if you keep on this path, guys, you will create a lot of results that you are looking for. So I hope you enjoyed this video and can now see how you can start moving forward in a much greater lane. Have a wonderful day, guys. And if you are interested in learning more self-development videos just like this one, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next